Welcome to 30 and Nerdy. My name is David.
I don't want to take my pants off.
Oh, my name is Brady.
I sort of have a boner.
And my name is David.
I call myself the booby watcher.
Fuck you. Why do you never play?
I'm actually frickin' Brady.
I have come here to chew ass, and I'm all out of bubble gum.
Oh, shit.
I'm nobody, apparently, so
I don't like boobies.
we know how this episode's going.
Mr. Nobody from Fast and Furious.
Mr. Nobody from the movie Mr. Nobody.
I didn't see that one.
It's really good. It's a really good movie. Sadly, that's not the type of movie we're talking about today, but we are talking about a type of movie. So today, people, we are going to be talking about gangster films.
You motherfucker.
And gangster video games.
Heck yeah. One of my favorite genres of movies.
Yep. I used to love watching these as kids.
Movies make me want to die.
I always wanted to be a gangster when I was a kid.
I always wanted to be a guy who ate Cheetos, and that's who I am today.
AJ grew up to live his dream.
Yeah.
AJ is the cheesy poof guy out of Fear, the video game. He's like the guy who calls you over the intercom, and he always has like the little yellow fingers from the cheesy poofs.
What?
So, I did not grow up to be a beatard, because that's how I imagine everybody on B is. Like, their fingers are just coated in Cheeto dust.
Yeah.
And they're just scrolling up and down and F5, F5. Oh, look at this. Garbage content.
Well,
Close
I
that
have
tab.
been eating a fuck ton of Cheez-Its lately. Does that count?
Cheez-Its are fucking gross.
They are.
They're just cheese crackers.
They're fucking awful.
They're the
Why?
worst cheese byproduct that you could ever eat.
How?
They're
Worse than the
Not
blocks of
good.
Velveeta cheese.
They're just cheese-flavored crackers.
no.
That's a recipe for success every time.
That is not, because they're not cheese flavored. That is not a cheese flavor. It tastes like cardboard
Wrong. Fake news.
with orange dust.
Nope. I don't think I can do this anymore. You guys don't like Cheez-Its. Are you ISIS?
AJ might be.
Because, you know, ISIS, their first thing is like, do you hate Cheez-Its? Because we do.
Then I guess I'm ISIS.
God.
Come get me, Mr. FBI.
Oh, God bless America.
But the whole entire reason behind why I wanted to talk about this, or besides the point that I really just love mobster movies, that I was listening to and I seem to get all my ideas from the Joe Rogan podcast about, but this time it's only just the nugget of that because they had a guy, TJ English, and Joey Diaz.
Don't know who either of those folks are.
See, I thought when you said TJ, I thought you were going to say TJ Miller, and then I was going to go about how he recently got arrested and put into jail on $100,000 bail.
Oh yeah, for
calling in a bomb threat on an Amtrak.
It's really going to discredit his.
What a genius!
His sexual assault charge.
Oh, well,
Nothing
She's
of value was
crazy.
lost.
She's crazy.
Emoji Movie is changing the world.
I always hated that guy. No,
You were
I have a
right.
Valid reason.
I didn't mind him in like Deadpool. I've never watched him in Silicon Valley, so I don't.
He was awful in that. I didn't like his character.
I think he got killed off though.
Oh yeah, he left the show.
Well, they made him leave the show.
Oh, is that what it is?
Yeah, because apparently he showed up late. He would fall asleep on set. He was volatile.
What a crappy person.
So he was me.
Besides the fact that you haven't allegedly sexually assaulted somebody, or called in a fake bomb threat. But anyway, so going back to the Joe Rogan podcast, they had these two guys on. Joey Diaz is a regular. He has his own podcast.
Hey, Joey Diaz.
And he's I believe, Cuban American.
Cubano.
And so TJ English has done several different books, and I really wanted
Oi,
to.
mate, I'm TJ English.
I think he's just American.
Damn it.
But he did marry a Cuban lady.
Hey, Cubano.
Your impersonations are spot on.
Thank you.
But he has wrote several books, like The Westies. The one I really wanted to because I called around as soon as I was done listening to the podcast. I called around because I wanted to listen, or I wanted to read the books.
Westies, testies.
The Westies was about the, I think, Irish Mafia in New York. And I just like that because I always have loved, the Untouchables and things of that nature. And that's Chicago, of course. But, I mean, still that kind of, the mafioso proper instead of, like, Cuban Mafia or...
When we get to
Italian
movies, one of my favorite mobster movies has the Italian mob in it.
That's... You don't have to look too far for a good movie about the Italian mafia.
Or, not Italian, I'm sorry, the Irish.
Oh.
Yeah.
But he has other books like Havana Nocturne, Where the Bodies Were Buried, The Savage City, The Westies, and then there's Paddywhacked, and then the new one that they were talking about, the Corporation, which was all about the Cuban, mafia, and
Sorry, it startled me.
which is all about the Cuban mafia when they came over here. Because he also wrote a book about the Cuban mafia proper when they were in Cuba before Fidel came to power and totally
Killed him.
Well, killed him or pushed him out.
Cuba before Cuba became Cuba.
Yep.
What about Cuba Gooding Jr.?
Great
That
guy.
mafia.
He was in a not really a mobster movie, but a ish movie about mobsters.
Radio.
No. Boys in the Hood.
Oh,
Oh, that's a great movie.
never seen it.
It'll make you cry. It's got Ice-T. It's got Cuba Gooding Jr. It's got the guy who played Morpheus, Dorpheus.
Lawrence Fishburne.
Yeah.
Larry Fishburne.
Is
Yeah.
that Lawrence?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but in that movie, it's Larry.
I have to fact check myself.
No, it is Lawrence Fishburne.
Okay.
Morpheus, Dorpheus. Worcestershire sauce.
So, let's kick it off with some movies. David?
So probably the number one movie when I was a kid growing up that I loved watching, and now it totally just flew out of my head.
Well, it must not have been that great.
Oh, I haven't watched it in years.
Well, it must not have been that great.
It was amazing.
I'm fucking with you.
I'm not. Wait, boys.
Well, this is kind of embarrassing because the name of the movie had Christian Slater in it, and the name of the movie was called Mobsters. You figured I'd be able to remember that.
It's the ones you least expect.
I thought it was going to be a crazy name like not Mobsters.
That's
The
name
other
of the
mobster movie. But this one,
Not another mobster movie.
he played Lucky Luciano, who was a real life gangster,
Yeah.
and
Does,
just kind of followed loosely.
does he get shot in the movie, Christian Slater?
No, because Lucky Luciano dies of a heart attack at like the age of 65.
Oh, dang it. My
but-
favorite movies
Are the ones he dies
are
in.
ones, Christian Slater dies. Like
He-
Heathers?
He hates Christian
Fucking
Slater.
hate him. I think it's well documented here.
How do you hate Christian Slater?
I just hate his face. I hate the way he talks.
Because it was about
Hey, I'm Lucky Luciano. I'm a mobster. I'm crazy, okay? I'm Christian Slater from Heathers. Just kill her, Heather. It's okay, Heather. Fuck you, Christian Slater.
I really wish we could get that face to listen, because the face you make when you do that voice is balls deep nuts.
But I mean, it follows Lucky Luciano as he's going through, and he becomes friends. He's Italian, and
Fucking course he is.
Patrick Dempsey plays Meyer Lansky, who is also a Jewish mobster of the day, and then kind of follows his rise to, because there are two different families in this movie, and just kind of how they go through, and they're the different rules that you kind of pick up on, even though they're not written down.
Oh, like the
Like
cider house ones?
Yeah, exactly like the Cider House rules. At least because one of the guys, Joey, who's the muscle for their little group of four,
I'm the muscle.
and he is like, you can't, because at the very end, Lucky Luciano, his family was killed by one of the Dons, quote unquote. I'm not sure if that's actually what happened in real life, but in the movie, this is what happened.
You know what would be really funny is instead of dons, they were dongs.
they go through, and he's about to kill the last Don because he had the other one killed. He walked out and like took a piss in the bathroom, and the other guy, there people just came in and blasted him. And I always, as a kid, the odd things you think and pick up as kids, like I always loved the idea, and I always had to have grape juice with my, pasta dishes as a kid because I saw in the Mobster movies they always had wine. But I couldn't. I mean,
Close
I'm a kid,
enough.
so I was like, well, it's
Get
purple,
that Welch's.
So I always had to have this grape juice or some kind of juice
That's
with me.
cool.
And
Concord.
Circa yesterday.
but Joey said that the fact of you can't kill it, or if you want to be a Don, you can't kill a Don. So just the different Omerta rules of whatever.
Omerta.
And like they had Arnold Rothstein, who was another heavy hitter inside the crime world of New York, and how he was killed because Luciano thought he had ratted him out or something. I can't remember if he actually did or not.
You
but,
fucking rat.
But I also remember one of the coolest scenes in the movie to me as a kid was Christian Slater's girlfriend was sleeping in bed, and they were trying to kill Christian Slater, and so she had like the sheets and the comforter and everything all way up above her, so they just saw a body in the bed. And so they took a pillow and then a 38 and just popped her a couple times and ran out, and then he came running out and I think shot and killed one of the guys. But that just to me, for whatever reason, years later, just still stands out to me as because it was like a feather pillow is really nice, swanky, sweet. So it was like just feathers everywhere, blood, and it just I don't know, it just was a.
I'm surprised your family let you watch this.
This was on TV,
Gotcha.
so I just snuck it in there. Just like my wrestling on Saturday mornings. Wasn't allowed to watch wrestling as a kid because I tried to act out the moves.
No soap operas for you, David.
So I'd have to sneak my Hulk Hogan in early in Saturday mornings.
Listen up here, brother.
I just got done watching WrestleMania this past weekend.
All little Hulksters know
Pretty good.
that Brady watched Hulkamania back when he was a child, and now he has Hulk in his body.
My favorite wrestler was Stone Cold Steve Austin before I knew he was a wife beater.
Is he?
Yeah. I just assume all huge
yeah.
bald men beat their wives.
Same. How weird is that? I don't know. What about me when I'm bald, though?
True. Well, like wrestlers.
See, anymore, like, all I think of is, like, Chris Benoit.
Benoit.
It's French, AJ. You uncultured swine.
Fuck you. You cunt.
All right. What's some
Well,
other
that's one-
movies?
Some other movies. I won't try and take all of the ones that you did, or that you probably will, Brady. But American Gangster, movie that AJ and I watched a long time ago. That was
I didn't really like it.
I liked it just because I like Denzel Washington, and I enjoy stories about real people, even though they're embellished and not always true to
Made
actual
fun for
facts.
the big screen.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I think Brady and I are going to have, like, the same favorite. Mainly because it's the first one my dad showed me when I was, like, 13 or 12. Somewhere around then. He's like, hey, let's watch this DVD of or not a DVD. Let's watch this VHS of Goodfellas.
Hell yeah.
And I'm like, what's this? And he's like, it's a mobster movie. Just sit down and watch it. Shut up. And, yeah.
It is probably top 5 best gangster movies ever made.
It's up
And
there.
Joe Pesci always seems to, whenever he plays a gangster, always dies.
Yeah.
He died in that one. He died in Casino, or got
Very-
beaten with a baseball bat. He died in
My cousin Vinny?
I don't think he died in that one.
Oh.
A Home Alone, he doesn't die.
He probably wishes he died after Home Alone 2.
The
He should have died. Let me-
Moonwalker movie. I think he dies.
Let's see here.
When Michael Jackson turns into a jet.
What's the movie about the Teamster?
Jimmy Hoffa?
Because he dies in
Hoffa?
that one.
Just called Hoffa.
Yep.
It's a good one.
Yeah, that's another good one. Joe Pesci dies in that one.
I
Gets shot
love
in the
how
face.
he dies in Casino. Because, like, they're beating his brother to death in that cornfield with baseball bats. And then I'm sitting there watching with my friend John. I'm like, look, it's Far Cry 5. Because they have aluminum bats just beating him. And the one guy takes 2 and just beats him with it. But I will say, if a bunch of Italian people invite you into the middle of a cornfield, don't fucking go. You should never trust Italians unless you're in, like, an open area, because they will stab you literally in the back.
Well, if you take Godfather, they're still going to kill you, like the guy.
I know, but it's safer than like hey, meet me in the desert. No, I'm going to meet you at a Dunkin' Donuts.
If they want you whacked, Brady, you're going to get whacked. The guy got shot in the massage parlor. The guy got shot in the turning style door.
Mr. Pesci, I'll meet you at the police station.
So this is where I have to chime in that Brady knows I'm Italian. And he shits all over my heritage all the time.
It's okay. Italians they're all white. We can shit them all we want.
They had to earn that whiteness back in the day.
Yeah.
Just like the Irish, which is part of what I am, and part of one of my favorite mobster movies, which a lot of people probably wouldn't associate as a mobster movie, Death to Smoochie.
I do. That's a
fucking top tier, great movie.
You won't hear a lot of praise for that movie, and I don't think it deserves the hate it gets.
I don't think it does either. But so originally in that movie, the guy that they got to play, what is his name? Oh, Smoochie, I love you. Like the kind of,
I don't know. I've only seen it once here.
The guy who kind of like
Edward Norton.
No, the guy who's like missing a few. Well, anyway, originally, he was supposed to be played by Henry Rollins, but he was way too intense, so they got, like, some chubby, curly-haired
John
Italian...
Candy?
Like, this character...
Is it the Buggy Ding Dong?
Yeah!
Vincent Schiavelli... I don't know, I can't say his last
name. So anyway...
Spaghetti sauce.
God damn it!
But, I mean, that has to be one of the best character names of all time. Buggy Ding Dong.
So, anyway, Buggy Ding Dong was originally supposed to be played by Henry Rollins, and he was way too intense, and they were like, all right, fuck it, bring this goofy Italian guy in.
Yeah.
And he just comes in and just tards the character out hardcore. And it works, and it's wonderful, and I fucking love this movie, and I don't think enough people appreciate it. But the whole thing is centered around these giant mobster elites run these fucking shows, these ice capade shows, and they fucking bank giant amounts of money on them. And if you don't follow their law, then they'll fucking assassinate you and your character. Not to mention Robin Williams as a guy who got fired, out on his ass, funny as shit.
Yep.
And then you got Edward Norton, who plays a character who's gone through anger therapy. So he's like super kind, and then at the end, like he just lets all his anger out. It's fucking wonderful.
It's a good
Not
movie.
a lot of people would consider it a mobster movie. I highly do. So fuck you.
Another good one came out my senior year, so 2003, I believe, or 2002-ish, somewhere in that range. Road to Perdition.
Oh, that's a good one. And it's based off a comic.
It is so good. It's Tom Hanks at his best almost. Love it.
Joe versus Volcano is way better.
I'm not saying it's his best. I'm saying it's him at his best. It's a great movie. He does a great job acting in it. You have, what's his name?
David, sometimes I pull your leg and you don't realize what I'm doing.
But, no, I thought that one when he had a dog cop partner. That was a pretty good one.
Hooch.
Turner and Hooch, yeah.
Turner and Hooch, yeah, that was a good one.
What was the cop one with Dan Aykroyd?
Not good enough to remember because it had Dan Aykroyd in it.
Dan Aykroyd and...
Tom
Are you
Hanks.
talking Dragnet?
Yeah.
That was a great one.
Yeah.
I like that one. I like Dan Aykroyd.
When they both
Really?
rap.
He's so crazy.
Yeah, that's why I like him.
Him and his Crystal Skull, his vodka tastes like dog shit. All
Yes,
right?
it does. It's
Do
cheap,
not
gross
spend
vodka.
$60 unless you really want a glass Skull, which I did. So I bought the vodka.
I have one too. My dad gave it to me though.
But the vodka is so gross. This is the worst vodka I'd ever had. You're better off just going out and spending $20 on a bottle of Kettle One.
Yep.
Which goes down smooth as water.
It's the warm hug that's ice cold.
I really like Kettle One with the pinch of lemon.
I like Cape Cods, which are lime juice, cranberry juice, vodka.
Cranberry juice.
Cranberry juice.
Ooh, tonight's guest,
the country
3
club.
cranberry gems.
And 3 non-blondes.
Speaking of cranberry juice, another amazing movie, which I made AJ hate, The Departed.
I was waiting for him to bring it up, so
Still never seen it.
How have you not seen that movie?
you know, sometimes I think maybe I should have never watched this movie, or maybe not. Maybe go fuck yourself. No, it's good. It still stands up really well. It's just I don't ever foresee me ever watching it again. Because how many times do I need to see Jack Nicholson's rubber penis
What?
as he's jerking off?
Because
in a
he
theater.
meets the dirty cop in a movie theater, adult theater,
Oh.
and then it's sparse, and so he's sitting there trying to have a joke with him, so he like whips it out, and
So it's loving himself?
yeah, a little bit. I think he was loving himself before, and then the cop came.
Doesn't he like throw it at him and go, "Oh, it's a fake"?
No, it just kind of shoots.
What
to it
movie
and
am I
shoots away.
thinking that? Then
I don't
I
know.
don't know.
oh, it's South
Something
Park.
from Pornhub.
Oh.
South Park. This is fucking bigger, longer uncut because Saddam Hussein whips out his penis and then he's like, Saddam, no, and he goes, don't worry, guys, fake.
Would you guys consider Snatch? Or not Snatch, Killing Them Softly?
I don't
Yeah,
think I've seen
gangster
Killing
movie.
Them Softly.
Brad Pitt.
Well, of course you've seen it because it's got Brad Pitt.
I own it on special edition steel case. Well, it's not special edition, it's just steel case. He just has to kill a bunch of guys with a shotgun. It's pretty fun.
So another one that my dad turned me on to when I was younger was Scarface.
Oh, yeah.
The one with Al Pacino.
Yep.
So not the old one, but the 80s one. And I hear it's getting remade. I don't.
Shocker.
I really don't want to see it. I think that they did.
need a remake.
They
See,
did.
I could never watch because it always, and this is going into. I mean, when we get into games too, but I could never because the Grand Theft Auto 3 and San Andreas had the same kind of feel of the Tony Montana, Scarface.
Only Vice City had that feeling to me because San Andreas was.
Or that maybe
more-
that's what I was thinking. Yeah, Vice City. But so I could never play them because I just whenever I watched those, I felt. I don't know. I felt dirty, but that's not the right word because there just was so much gratuitous violence in it that it just was off-putting to me. And because I watched it when I was really a lot younger.
I think my
And so
dad
I
had
wasn't
me
able-
watch it when I was 13.
Yeah.
But I mean, my dad always threw movies at me way before I should have watched them.
Yeah.
So like, I remember watching Sling Blade with my family when I was 8.
Oh, no.
But I had really cool parents that let me just indulge in anything that I wanted to. So they're like, oh yeah, you can watch that because it's not real. Or, listen to whatever you want because the message in the music isn't real. So it's just there for entertainment. Now, I mean, the shit in those movies does clearly happen to people. I think Vice City, or it's a Grand Theft Auto game. I think that Scarface gets memorized as a super graphic film for scenes that don't get shown. So, like the chainsaw scene, that you don't even see it. You hear it, and your brain makes it.
And that's what I think as a kid was way worse. Well, maybe not.
It's
way
always
worse,
way
but-
worse than it really would have been because your brain can do so much more with that kind of input than what they can show you in a movie. But yeah, like they don't even show that stuff. But I can definitely understand what you mean by because like that movie is a really dirty, gritty film. I mean, it takes place in just like the trash heap of Florida, during the 80s.
All of it. All of Florida.
All of Florida is just a big fucking garbage heap. General Sam agrees. So, I mean, and he lives in Tallahassee.
Yeah.
But no, like,
It's all going to be submerged soon anyway.
yeah,
Yeah.
go underwater. Live there, die there.
Florida's pretty nice. Have you ever been there?
I've been there 3 times.
Too hot. My wife and I both have completely opposite ideas of where we want to live. Like, I would love Seattle. Rainy, 60, gloomy.
Yes.
Love it. Overcast. She's like,
Good
I
weather
want
to
live
kill
in
yourself,
Texas.
too.
90, hot.
Nothing to do.
Ah.
Is she going to take you and make you live on like a cattle ranch?
Frontier family.
Be a frontier family? Look at my wood panel house.
I mean, housing down there is ridiculously cheap, but
Only if you're outside of, Dallas, Fort Worth, or Austin, or Houston. If you're outside of those, which means you're in the boonies,
Houston.
of course it's cheap. Or San Antonio. But no, it's true that movie is really remembered as a dirty, gritty movie because it is kind of a dirty, gritty movie. What's really funny though is that you're like, oh, I can't play Vice City or whatever I said it was.
yeah.
Because it reminds me too much of that movie. Well, that's because they pretty much took everything from that movie and put it into the game.
There's the mansion in the game.
The mansion's in it. The entire soundtrack, which is all based around doing yayo, which is coke, with like upbeat 80s synth pop.
Yeah.
And that's like the soundtrack for the game as well. So that's why, and I mean that game is now hashtag aesthetic. If you go back, it's like the teals, the pinks,
Yeah.
everything that you want in a aesthetic world. Pretty sure there's a vaporwave guy out there like, how I'm gonna fuck that shit.
Another good movie is Eastern Promises. Really good movie about the Russian mafia. And
I never got it really into the Russian mafia films. I know you're really into them.
I eat this one up, especially because I like a lot of symbolism and meaning behind just different aspects. And so it's not even just the violence or the taking care of business and we take care of our own and vengeance and all that kind of jazz. Even though I love those aspects of the mobster movies and what it kind of entails, even though it's horrible things that are happening to people in real life. Even if not the same way it's being portrayed on the films.
Because I remember you making me watch this one where, like, the whole symbolism with the tattoos.
Yeah, and that's Eastern Promises.
Oh, is it? Okay.
And the cool thing is that with this movie, when he was taking the train, because he did it, or they filmed in location in somewhere in Eastern Europe.
Yeah.
And that people wouldn't talk to him because they saw the tattoos that he had, because they still carry meaning inside the Russian crime world. And I mean, he had... Like, he was trying to get... He played a cop. Viggo Mortensen, sorry. Played a cop. And he was trying to get into the Russian mafia. And the way that you show loyalty and higher status is you get stars on your chest. And it shows that throughout the thing, he actually earns his stars and gets them tattooed by one of the tattoo people of the mafia.
I for some reason, like, embedded in my mind is him getting his spider webs on his on the elbows and the knees, and like the whole like, oh, if you, and it goes through like, well, if you have this kind of tattoo, it means this, where like it shows like a guy who's got like Russian buildings, and then it's a completely different meaning than something else. I don't know. Russian mob is crazy shit, but I mean, they're fucking Russian, so...
But it just was... I loved it, and I can't remember if it was either this one or History of Violence. One of the two, and I believe it's the Eastern Promises. Good, but you do see some Viggo Mortensen wiener.
Ooh.
So, there is that.
I can't remember.
It's one of those two.
Which is weird, because I always remember a dick. There's a dick in a movie, I generally remember it. Seriously, we brought up The Departed, and what did I talk about? Jack Nicholson's rubber dick.
Yep.
If there's a dick in a movie, I'm going to be able to remember it. I have a penchant for cock.
Did we already say The Untouchables?
We did not.
We did it. He
that
kind of mentioned it.
Any gangster movie with Robert De Niro in it is probably my favorite. I loved that movie so much. I love how just that period of Chicago.
And the funny thing is,
I know I've seen it. I can't remember.
and kind of going back to the Joe Rogan podcast, that they said in his researching of all the things mob related, that they took the template for what happened during the Prohibition, and just that's been the same thing for everything that they get their hands into until they lose out on, if weed gets legalized and becomes really cheap, then they'll move to something different, but still keeping the same kind of template going, just in these constant cycles. And it really is interesting to go back to those times when, the American government basically made and cultivated the organized crime
with the prohibition of alcohol.
Yeah.
Yep.
And
that's what it goes back to.
It's like, oh, thanks, you just made us a shit ton of money.
I also like to point out to people that shows that amendments can be ratified and eliminated, because that was an amendment at one point. The prohibition of alcoholic beverages. Though, let's get real, it wasn't really that prohibited. Not because of speakeasies and basement distillery, but because of doctors. If you went to your doctor and you're like, oh man, I'm really hurting, I really need it, they can give you a prescription for alcohol. And they were just as willy-nilly about it as doctors are nowadays with weed.
Yeah.
Like, oh, you dude, you got back pain? Oh, bro, here's some weed.
I thought it was because wives were tired of getting beat by their drunk husbands. So they got rid of booze.
No. This is why prohibition wasn't really that much of a prohibition, because you could still get it if a doctor prescribed it to you, and doctors prescribed it willy-nilly, easily. I have no clue why they did prohibition. I didn't pay attention because I didn't care. I just know that it's the sole reason for the entrance of the mob in U.S. territory. But at least they brought some great fashion in the Tommy gun.
That's right.
Chicago typewriter.
I've got a Tommy gun.
Speaking of fashion, my favorite part of Casino was Robert De Niro's suits. They're very colorful and awesome looking.
And see, I think that's
it's
also
like one solid color for everything: vest, tie, shirt, coat.
And that's kind of what I think allured me to the mobster mentality and lifestyle in the movies, at least. Not wanting to, as a kid, I was like, oh yeah, I want to run guns and do all this stuff, but just that, they make tons of money, and they have, like, if I was able to, I would love to dress up in suits all the time. Yeah. I love a great
and not
suit.
Get called a beta cuck.
Yeah, and have nice three-piece suit and a jacket. I like the style. I enjoy it. I just don't have the money and I have two small kids who would just demolish suits.
I'm too fat for suits. I end up looking like Donald Trump does in that one picture where he's got like the really long coat, so it makes him look like he's like a big blueberry. Have you seen this picture? It's like going around all over Twitter. It's fucking wonderful. But so this is why I don't wear suits, because they don't fit my frame right. Even when I was thinner, when I was like at like 280, which is way thinner for me because I'm 6'4". So, and still a suit was not flattering on me. So I'll never have that suit body, which makes me sad. But I'm really happy I got a Speedo body instead.
Hell yeah. I like gangsters just because they're classy. They have respect, and they don't fucking care about anything. They do whatever they want when they want. And just kill somebody, okay, I'll kill you.
And
respect, like carrying your mom's groceries home when you don't ask them to.
I don't think I was ever like too attracted to the idea of the mob life, but the mob life chose me. I had to do it. I had to do it to him. But no, like I was never really drawn to it. I enjoyed watching movies about it, but I never went out of my way to like seek it. If anything, I want it to be Dick Tracy.
Yeah, Dick
I thought
Tracy's
that was
another good
fucking
movie.
cool.
I remember listening to the book on tape, when it actually was a tape, and being really disturbed as a kid because it was, somewhat of a graphic book because there were times where, and they have it in the movie where, and I can't remember any of the characters' names besides Dick Tracy and Flat Top and a few other ones, and there was one of the minor crime bosses. Because there's the major one who was control of the whole entire territory of Dick Tracy's fictional world. And one of the minor ones did something, and he got a bath in down at the wharf in cement. And I just remember, because as a kid and listening to this and having to picture it, that somebody is being stuck into a box and having cement poured on him and then dumped into water is just terrifying.
It's brutal.
Yeah, it's super brutal. I love how...
And I also thought, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
No, go ahead.
My Apple Watch is like the
Dick Tracy watch.
Dick Tracy watch.
Who
that
didn't
I always,
want that?
my best friend and I always wanted to get the Dick Tracy watches so that we could talk to each other because that was the coolest thing in the world I could think of. Just sitting there, being able to be like at school, "Hey David, what are you doing?" "Nothing, David. What are you doing?" "Talking to you on my watch."
You had a friend named David?
Yeah, he's my best friend. That's why on Facebook when you see he just tagged me today for something on because he's a Mets fan and I'm a Yankees fan. And but we always would watch wrestling together, and so we always wanted to have a tag team duo. We were going to be David and David Incorporated, and we were going to be the World Wrestling Federation Championship.
You need to get on this. Like,
Our business is pain.
why don't you just do it? You got the body for a onesie. I think you can pull it
I definitely
off.
do not.
Just throw some socks down in your junk area.
Dude, John Cena wears cargo shorts and a shirt. You could do it.
John Cena also has a Greek-like god
He
body.
he is an Adonis.
He is an incredibly...
And my goodness,
He is
speaking
a
of-
chiseled
Speaking
motherfucker.
of suits, he looks amazing in a suit.
Yeah.
He looks amazing in everything.
He's He's like what?
But most of the time, I don't even see him.
For the cockblockers, the new thing, they're doing like their press junket, and he kept on like popping his head in and stuff like that, and people were like, "Did you see him? Can you see him? Is he there?" And he just kept on doing it for like every person who's coming in to talk about the movie and stuff like that, which the movie looks hilarious. I just want to go see it for the sole purpose of seeing him do a butt chug.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
And just see the one guy when the funnel comes out and he's like, "Oh, ass beer, ass beer."
He's gonna need it after the beating the Undertaker gave him.
Oh.
How is the Undertaker not dead?
I think he gets reiterated.
No, it's the same guy. It's still from like when I was a kid.
He's undead.
He's undead.
Well, I'm saying like in real
He's
life,
the
the guy has to
Undertaker.
be like 80 years old.
He's either pushing 60 or in 60. The 60s. We looked
Okay,
it
he
up.
looks. He's a very hard 60 then.
Yeah.
He has not lived a nice life.
Well, it's all that. It's all that doping.
He's been wrestling since like the
I'm
70s
surprised-
in some way or another.
I'm surprised he hasn't Benoit his family.
That's Benoit.
And speaking of, because I know we're off topic, but shocker, whatever. Who cares? This is what you get. You know what you're getting into when you get into this podcast, people. If you don't know now, this is what you get. You get what you get.
And getting's good.
But
You get to get.
I used to like watching, because I loved Hulk Hogan, so I liked watching whatever the Hulk Hogan reality TV show was.
Oh, that was so horrible.
But I loved Hulk Hogan, so I would watch it. And I would hate to be anybody who wanted to date Brooke Hogan, because he always had like his little entourage. So he had like the Big Show, who's like the 450-pound, 7-foot
Massive
monster,
man.
and have like the Undertaker and stuff like that, and be like, "Hi, I'm here to date Brooke Hogan. Please don't snap me in half. Don't kill me."
Hulk Hogan, he's a little puss.
He's a beta cuck.
Everybody knows Macho Man kicks shit.
Exactly.
But you know what I'm saying. I mean, it'd be
Yeah.
very intimidating.
Snap it
It
to a
would.
fucking Slim Jim, dude.
You could just come in like a Hulkamania shirt and be like, "Oh, you're cool, brother."
Oh, dude, you must be one of the little Hulksters, and you know you are. Look at this tan.
Dude, Bronx.
I look like I'm wearing leather on my skin.
Ew.
So when I worked at at Pilot, nobody would eat the hot dogs, and every time I had to go back there and take them off the rollers and throw them away, they looked like Hulk Hogan's skin. So I would just walk around with one, and Tongs would be like, all the Hulks know that this hot dog is me, Hulk Hogan. I had to find ways to entertain myself. Nobody else got it. This is why I don't work there anymore.
But bringing it back. Bringing it back.
So anyway, when it comes to Mobster, look, I'm really drawn to like the noir film of look, where it's like everybody's in dusters and they got
Zoot suits.
Yeah, and they got the fedoras, and they just look classy as fuck. They're smoking cigarettes. You know,
that was the other thing about the Eastern Promises. I mean, they smoked like a mother in that movie, and then also Viggo Mortensen did the coolest thing where he would take the cigarette and put it out on his tongue.
Yeah,
and I mean that's some hardcore stuff right
there.
In
Casino, in the first half of the movie, it's 3 hours long. So in the first normal movie length chunk, there's no scene where Robert De Niro isn't smoking. And then his shit goes crazy with his wife, and he doesn't. But every single scene, he has a cigarette lit. It's like, God.
I have to wonder, how big is like the life insurance policy that they take out on these people, or the insurance for?
Well, I think they don't smoke cigarettes. It's like herbs.
No, back in the day, they did do real cigarettes, and then Hollywood got all huffy and puffy about it. And so they're like, oh, you can't have real cigarettes unless your person's already a smoker, then fine.
What if they want to start a habit?
Hey, kid, you looking to start a habit and a career? I got just the thing for you.
They want to
suck my penis. We'll get you in a movie.
Okay, Harvey.
And then you can suck on this tobacco stick. Here you go, buddy. Yeah. All right, we're going to make you an extra. You're just going to stand in the background and do nothing. Here's $5.
Yeah.
Get the fuck out. Nobody will believe you.
So I know this isn't a movie, but it's mobsters nonetheless, and that's The Sopranos.
I would say it's.
It's on HBO, home box office.
Yeah. TV show is just like one really long movie.
And they actually talked about this on that podcast where Tony Soprano, the heads of HBO didn't want Tony Soprano to carry out hits because they thought that the head of the family wouldn't get their hands dirty.
Yeah.
And the guy, TJ English, was talking about there were several mob bosses that when they wanted something done, they would go and do it themselves to show their dominance, show that they were willing to get their hands dirty, and to also make sure that stuff was done the way that they wanted.
Well,
to.
you want something done right, you got to do it yourself. Fred Durst told me that.
But another movie from my childhood, which I loved and was early on in Natalie Portman's career, I think it was one of her first ones, was The Professional.
Lolita?
No, The Professional. The name of the movie is called The Professional.
Yeah, but he's like dating a kid, right?
No, it's about a hitman who takes this girl whose parents were killed, or she's an orphan or something like that, and she starts to live with him, and then she just wants to do what he's doing, so he teaches her everything about how to like shoot a gun, how to aim, how to make sure people don't know where you are.
That's directed by Leon something, right?
Leon is like the main character.
Okay, so
because Gary Oldman's in it, John Reno, you'd know him if you saw him.
Anyway, yeah, that fella in the story is dating a 15-year-old girl. Cool. And then they kind of changed it for Hollywood.
Yeah.
Oh no, that whole basically saying that it's okay to date prepubescent women.
I didn't pick up on that in the movie.
I'm a downer.
The Iceman with Michael Shannon. He does hits for the mob.
I thought you were talking about that shitty movie Frozen Ground.
Nope, the movie is called The Iceman.
Does he cometh?
Yeah, like 100, 200 times. He's killed like 200 people. He's dead now, the real guy.
Was he the one who put people in his freezer?
Yeah.
And like would thaw them out
and
later so they couldn't really tell when they had died?
No, they'd chop them up. At least when he got more into the business. But he would like, if somebody looked at him wrong on the street, he'd follow him home and kill him. He was
loose cannon.
Sociopath. Just loved to kill. Well, he didn't love it. He said, there's good interviews you go on YouTube, like in his own words. And he said he didn't feel anything when he killed people. It was just a thing. It's like, oh, this person's dead now. Fuck it. Badass. He's like the mobster life. You get to kill people, man. It's awesome.
LA Confidential was another one. Didn't really care for the storyline, but I really thought the Kim Basinger in the white dress was really good looking, so I watched it.
You guys have pretty much topped out all of the gangster movies I've seen. So,
just watch Goodfellas. That's all you need.
Yeah.
It's the best.
Well, we didn't even mention The Godfather.
Well, it's because
1, 2, or
it's
3.
shit.
It's fucking boring.
I like them. They're not like the end all be all for the most amazing movie but I like them.
I'd rather put duct tape my ass and rip my ass hair out than watch Godfather.
So you don't think that you can use Godfather as answer for any question? What day of the week is it? Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Sunday. That's from Sleepless in Seattle.
What?
And also from Sleepless in Seattle. Was it also in You've Got Mail?
Oh wait, I got those mixed up. Yeah, You've Got Mail.
Because it's the same movie. It's just that one has email and the other doesn't.
Yeah.
But the other one has a radio.
Yep, that's.
But they're both great movies.
But yeah, so Tom Hanks' character in that his favorite thing is The Godfather, and he's like,
Go to
why
the
is
mattresses.
why is it my favorite? Because you can use it as an answer for any question. What day of the week is it? Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Sunday.
I don't get it.
Well,
Because there's the wife of one of the people in The Godfather. That's what she says. Because she's trying to learn English.
Oh.
I don't know. It's a thing I thought that people would laugh at, and
I have no idea what you're
since I never get to hear what people are laughing at when they listen to this show, I'm just fucking throwing them out there.
Probably nothing.
Yeah, I know. They better be laughing at that dong joke because that was gold.
Another good one. Not really, but also unsettling, but I still powered through it somehow. Pulp Fiction.
powered through it? What do you mean?
Because I find that movies that have a rape scene and a graphic rape scene, I find really hard to watch. And when Ving Rhames gets pounded from behind, the only thing that made it good was that he was able to take his vengeance upon the person in the gimp mask and the dude who...
The sword.
Yeah. Well, no, that was...
That's Bruce.
That was Bruce Willis.
Bruce Willis.
But, yeah, that was a tough scene that I wasn't expecting and did not enjoy.
Where did you get this motorcycle from? It's a chopper, not a motorcycle.
Who's Zed?
Zed's dead, baby.
See, I didn't have that reaction to that just because it was such a
wild,
outrageous.
Okay, here's the thing.
It's
like
funny.
Tarantino is wild and crazy, and probably a serial killer that nobody knows about, except for me. No. Here's the thing, though. Like, I really wouldn't consider that like I guess it's kind of a gangster movie, but
They're low-time henchmen for some bookie or something.
yeah,
Who knows what?
They're like nobody.
Julius.
Julius.
Was that the black dude?
Yeah.
Okay.
And it's just that. Have you ever had this burger? That is a tasty burger.
And Jules.
Yeah.
And Vincent.
So
That was John Travolta.
Oh, okay. Yeah, they were more just henchmen.
I don't know. Like, to me, I just wouldn't consider that. But that's me personally.
But Pulp Fiction is great, but it's every freshman film student's favorite movie.
Yeah.
Because it's so deep and there's so much so crazy.
It's not that deep, though. Like, it's just a bunch of little mini stories tied together into one big story, and you never rub another woman's feet if they're in a relationship, because that's a very sexual thing, because Quentin Tarantino loves feet.
John Wick is a assassin mob movie
I'll give you that.
with a bad sequel.
With an excellent sequel.
It might have been the edibles I had, but I hated it. It felt like it never ended.
Which is weird. Edibles make you like everything.
Not a crappy John Wick 2.
Okay, you know what, though? I got really high with Brandon once. We smoked a shit ton of weed with him, and then he made me watch Death Proof, and I hate Death Proof.
Well, I hated Death Proof, and I wasn't high.
But you don't know how long that movie feels until you smoke a bunch of weed with your friend, and then when you smoke weed, time gets like really, really stretched out. So like 1 minute feels like an hour. Well, when you just have a whole fucking movie of dialogue for 70 fucking minutes of your film, that's a bad time.
The thing I hated about that movie was that, I mean, they basically have two comparable cars. They're not, I mean, I'm assuming they're both roughly going to reach the same speeds. And what's his name? Who played the bad guy in that movie? Kurt Russell.
Yep.
So Kurt Russell does bad stuff to the girls or whatever, and then they spins him out and then drives off and is gone. And then somehow they are able to power their car, fly back up, and it just, everything about it. I understand it's a movie. I understand you have
just
to
cruising speed limit.
But he always went pedal to the metal every time he was in that car in the movie. Because he's death proof.
This car's death proof. He says the name of the movie in the movie, and you get a nice Midwestern. Oh.
But the other half of that Grindhouse, which was
Planet
Terror, that was a good one.
That's a great movie. Not a mobster movie, but great nonetheless. Anyway, I think we should hop into gangster video games because really, we've really extinguished all of the mobster movies that we're going to talk about because the rest of them are shit.
Gangster Squad, I've never seen that, but it has
I didn't
Emma
see
Stone
that
in
one.
it.
Because I was going to watch it, and then they had that shooting in the theater, and then they postponed it, and then I never went back to see it. Because there was a shooting in the live theater, real life, and then in the movie they had a scene where they came out of the actual screen and started just shooting up the crowd for some reason. And so they postponed it because bad timing or I don't know.
Okay, I'm like super confused. So the people in the movie came out of the screen and killed people?
Okay, so in a real theater, a person shot up a theater.
In Colorado,
Then-
that guy.
The
Dark
crazy
Knight.
looking guy from the Dark Knight shooting,
Yes.
right?
I think so.
In Aurora?
Yes. And then inside the movie Gangster Squad, they had a scene where they were in a movie theater and shot it, like came out from the movie behind the movie screen and just started shooting up the theater.
Okay.
I would agree with you on your shrug and be like, okay, to show the movie, but people are more sensitive than we are, or more.
I don't know. I'm pretty
What's
sure
that
you
airplane doing in the sky? 9/11 just happened.
I mean, I'm pretty sure out of the three of us, most people would think that I'm like a hardcore SJW cup fuck piece of shit beta soy drinker.
How did you know? That's the T-shirt I was going to have made for you. Go back to the drawing board.
Foil again. I mean, but like, I don't get my jimmies in a rustle over something like that.
That just happened to happen.
Yeah, it's just a thing in a movie, and it's just something that happened. Like, who gives a dick?
It may have been in poor taste to some, but understandably
there's
so.
a lot of things that people do that are in poor taste. I made a really, really bad Chinese joke earlier that's going to get cut, and it was in poor taste. People do dumb shit because they think it's great. And then sometimes people put a scene in a movie that isn't really that big of a deal, but then they make it a big deal because, hey, a shooting happened there. I mean, there's been so many movies with school shootings in it, and you don't see anybody crying wolf about that.
Have there?
Yeah.
I mean, not lately, but there have been several movies.
Oh.
Post
Columbine.
Post Columbine, there were tons of movies about it, and I would say that it was just as important then as it is now. So, anyway, speaking of shooting things, have you ever played Mafia?
Surprisingly, I haven't played any of the Mafia games.
So I do have Mafia 2 on PC. I got it in a Humble Bundle, and I've never played it. Next.
I played it for an hour, and I remember I quit playing because it's a pseudo open world.
Yeah.
But you have a time limit to get from one mission to the next. So I'm like, this is stupid. I'm never playing this dumb game again.
I think that's because I do remember booting up Mafia 2, I think, and it was the same shit, except for it was like in the 40s, of course.
Yeah, well, we play. It's the same game, Mafia 2.
Oh, okay, yeah. And I was just like, this is dumb. I'm not playing this.
Yeah.
But Brady has played Assassin's Creed Syndicate, which is technically I wouldn't say it's exactly a mobster game, but it has mobster-ish ties to it.
Kind of like the
It's
gangs.
tangentially
street gangs
Mobster.
of 1800s.
So you've
London.
played
written.
Grand Theft Auto games. I would definitely say every single Grand Theft Auto game is a gangster game.
Played
Yeah.
a tiny bit of 4 and all of 5.
Did you go bowling with Roman?
Yeah.
Did
Then-
you play darts with Roman?
No.
Did you
Wow,
go
what kind of
to a
cousin are
dance
you?
with Roman?
No.
What kind of cousin are you?
I didn't play much of that game.
Neither did I. I don't.
I tried to. The really annoying thing is because I bought the Lost in the Dam DLC, and I was like, "Oh, this is gonna be great." And this is what always happens with Rockstar games. Besides 5, which I'm going to finish, I'm someday
No,
going
you're
to
not.
finish it.
No, you're not.
But 4, I played a ton of it. I did all the stupid crap like taking your girlfriend on a date several times, answering the phone at 3 o'clock in the morning to go do something stupid with Roman, a lot. And then I got the Lost in the Dam. I was like, this is going to be great. I hear great reviews about it. I'm going to play it. Downloaded it. Never played it. Never touched it. $19 down the drain. Gone. Never going to see that money again.
So there's this game out there. It's called The Darkness. It's based actually off of a comic book, but it's actually about killing the mafia, except for you're infused with a Lovecraftian beast.
And you technically are in the Mafia, too. I mean, you're trying to because you're...
Is that what it is? I can't
Yeah.
really. I knew it had to do with the mafia.
I get that game mixed
I-
up with Prey a lot.
I hate the thing I hated about this game is that because you start off and you have these 2 really amazing looking 45 caliber pistols,
Yeah.
etched and beautiful, and then you're like, all of a sudden all your ammo's gone. So what do? Oh, these 2 great guns. I'm just gonna throw them away and pick up 2 off the ground. What the heck? Keep those things. Those are probably like $1,000 guns right there.
It's a video game. There's
And I want to
$1,000
keep
guns everywhere.
Yeah, but I don't want some schmuck stupid Glock. I want to keep the beautiful 1911s that I just threw on the ground. How about this? I'll just take the ammo from the gun on the ground and keep my gun.
I wish.
So when I think about games with ammo mechanics like that, I actually think it makes more sense to pick up the gun than to sit there, empty the clips, and then put the clips in your pocket, and then be like, how many bullets are in that? All right, I'll pop those out of there and put them in here.
Well, see, I remember people talking to soldiers about like Modern Warfare, and would you just, like, if you ran dry, would you just pick up a gun off the ground? And most of the time, I mean, in a dire situation, of course, yes, you would, but most of the time you wouldn't be like, oh, hey, I have like 30 rounds left. I'm just going to pick up this gun because I want this one. And most of the time they wouldn't pick it up because it's not their gun. They haven't sighted it. They don't. It's not. I mean, it is that kind of jarhead mentality. Of, this is my rifle. This is my gun.
That's
This one's
something
for
that
fighting,
they've
this
been
one's for fun.
brainwashed into. Sorry, but it's technically them being brainwashed into loving that particular weapon that is theirs. So
It is, but it also. I mean, it is true because I mean, you know how your gun shoots, so you're able to more effectively use it than somebody else's gun who
In a Chinese
doesn't treat it in the
AK.
same way. And so I can understand that aspect of setting everything up the way you like it and the way that you shoot, as opposed to somebody else and how they may do it completely different, and then all of a sudden you're not hitting your target the way you're supposed to. But The Darkness was an amazing game. Not really for gameplay, because I always found that the little tentacle arms were really hard to control.
they were easier to control than the shitty gun mechanics in the
I would
game.
agree with that, but the voice acting was amazing in that.
Well, they got the great Mike Patton to do the voices.
demon part of it.
Who's Mike Patton?
He's a He used to be the singer for Faith No More. He was a singer for Mr. Bungle. He's
Oh, okay.
Yeah, And then he's done a lot of voice work. He's got one of those voices that can make any fucking noise that you want it to and convey any type of attitude or
Emotion.
Emotion that you need it to.
I've heard the name before. I just can't put a voice or face to it.
So just think back to the 90s and it's it. What is it? It's it. What? You don't like Faith No More?
That rock band ruined that song for me. I never, ever want to hear it again.
That is depressing. There are the fathers of nu metal, and you should thank them for Slipknot.
One band that I like out of an entire
subgenre, which I really wouldn't put Slipknot in nu metal. They only get thrown in there because of that first album, and then after that, they're not nu metal. They're just metal.
Yeah,
they're the new wave of American heavy metal.
Yep,
with Lamb of God and all them other greats.
Another great, well, not great. Another Mobster game, of course, was Dick Tracy on the NES. Played that.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. We're going old school.
It was shit. It's a shit game.
It probably was, but I loved it as a kid because we always would go down to Blockbuster or Video King and rent it.
Video King, where the king is the video.
Let's see here. Driver, which was a ridiculously hard game for me.
I remember playing that game and remember not liking it because it was fucking pain in the ass.
It was hard. Like, the last mission, I still don't know how you beat it without having cheat codes because there was millions and millions of stupid, I don't know, government SUVs and black cars that just came and just demolished your car. And I mean, your car actually took damage and had a life meter, and they would just ramrod you over and over and over. And I mean, I played with the cheat code on because I couldn't beat the game.
That's the one that takes place in London, right?
No, that's New York City, I believe.
Okay, there's another one.
The tutorial is ridiculously hard too. I remember that took me like an hour to beat.
Because there's another game where you're pretty much a driver.
Driver 2?
I don't know. One of them takes place in London. It was a fucking pain in the ass. I did not like it. When I think of Driver, that's what I think of.
What system was that at for?
PlayStation.
Yeah, PlayStation.
Haven't played that either.
And then let's see.
LA Noire was a huge one.
I wouldn't consider that you're a cop in that one. That's just a noir game.
But
you're hunting down murderers and stuff.
But it still has some mobsterish stuff into it.
Not really.
I think there may be a quest with mobsters.
Hey. Then it's a mobster game.
I like that serious pause.
He's like, well, if we're going to throw Pulp Fiction on as a mobster movie, well, then this is a mobster gang because there are street-level dimwits in it.
Another amazing one that we talked about before in a different podcast, Max Payne.
Ooh, shit. So that's definitely...
And that's probably on the top list of any mobster game
for
me
most
ever.
Definitely.
Once again, if you haven't played it, it can't be that much on Steam. More than less than $20.
So Max Payne 1 usually is like $8 to $10, and it's always on special. So I think I picked it up at like $2.50. Max Payne 2, I got it for like $5. And then Max Payne 3, I recently got that on a Steam special for $12 or $15. But that was like several months ago. It's pretty fresh in my mind.
So another one that's kind of funny. It is a crime game, but it doesn't take itself very seriously. But Saints Row, I find that game hilarious.
They're fun. They're a lot of fun.
I enjoy
that
you
first
can
one
run
was
around
actually really kind of like trying to be serious. I feel like what happened was because they were trying to be the Grand Theft Auto killer.
Yep, and you can't do that.
And when their main character went into a coma at the end of one, they knew that they could do whatever they wanted.
And they did.
So they're like, all right, we're still going to do a Grand Theft Auto style game. We're going to put dildo bats in it.
Remember, you could drive around sewage trucks and shoot shit water at people.
Yep.
You could run around naked.
Yeah.
It's definitely the Conker's Bad Fur Day of
I mean,
Yes.
you couldn't.
of Grand Theft Auto games.
They pixelated, but still, I thought that was hilarious. They could just run around naked. And
Yeah. Well,
do lewd
you
gestures at people.
you run around naked in Metal Gear Solid 2.
I hated that part. That was the worst part of that whole entire game.
The naked part.
There was a part where
Naked Snake?
No,
No,
this was
it's Raiden.
Raiden.
Raiden. That's it.
Finally, by that part in time in the game, I was like, I'm not going to get to play as Snake, am I? And that was like way at the very end of the game.
Yep.
It's like, Snake, you stupid bastard.
Yep.
I bought this game hoping to play as you,
Nope.
and now I'm not going to. All
Welcome
you're
to
doing is
Sons of
talking to
Liberty.
me.
Welcome to a 2.5 hour long ending to a game that makes absolutely no fucking sense.
Thanks, Kojima.
That is every stinking...
I beat that game 3 times to try to make sense of that ending. I just, how am I on this old timey ship that's docked in Washington D.C. fighting giant robots? When did this happen? And that's why we're talking about gangster movies and video games, because they are straightforward, cut and dry.
Another one that's really old. You guys may not even know this one. Who Shot Johnny Rock? It was one of those. I can't remember what they call them, but it was where your mouse was like the gun, and like on the screen would be the little target, and people. It was a live or not live action, but
No, it's
full motion video.
full motion video game, and in
so it's like Area 51,
kinda that or like the Night Trap.
Virtua Cop.
Yep.
Yeah.
But not. But Virtua Cop was still graphic. Or not people, but it was like
Well, Area
generated
51.
images.
Area 51 was FMV.
Yeah.
People popping up behind.
yeah, and this is what FMV was, and
Yeah.
so it was like a gangster version. So you had like a Tommy gun, and you would have to not shoot the lady who jumped out of the window to.
So it was like
Hit the gangster.
was an arcade port,
No,
or just this arcade.
it just was an
shooter style?
FMV.
So
Shooter style.
here's the thing. This is why PC gamers think that they're so fucking great, is because they get all of these different style games because they have a mouse, which makes them so great.
Yeah, it does.
Um,
They're great.
Yep. Make computer gaming great again. I can't believe that they're going to charge people for Dark Souls 1 when we already have Dark Souls 1 on PC. They should just give it to us for free. Sorry, that's an actual argument that's been going around, and I don't really like PC gamers. Now go and buy stuff on Steam.
Yeah. Let's see.
But play
here.
with a controller. You could be a plebeian like me.
But Tom Clancy's Splinter Cell,
Splinter Cell was
a little bit,
somewhat of a gangster game.
a little bit.
I
What about
had-
Siphon Filter? Was that one? I'm trying to think back.
No, Siphon Filter is more,
Espionage,
yeah.
still a good game. I really hope that they.
I remember
really bring
walking
that.
through lots of fields in that game.
I just remember turning on the cheat codes because I wanted all the guns.
David,
I was a
in-
cheater as a kid.
Yeah,
I was a cheater.
once a cheater, always a cheater.
I remember also playing Tomb Raider and just seeing. I'd have my friends over and I'd be like, "Okay, here's the cheat codes for this," because I go to Cheat Planet. I don't know if the site's still up, but
All the
I
time.
used to go to Sega Sages.
But we'd go to Cheat Planet and go to just to see if my friends would have me try and put this code in, where it was like the Get Laura Naked code.
Oh,
Even though
God.
it didn't work, but I still wanted to see if they would have me try and put it in.
Did you see her triangle boobs?
Every friend I had, they tried it. They're like, "Okay, here's this code. Try this." They wouldn't tell me which code it was. They would just tell me to do the code.
So, I remember when Tomb Raider came out, and I played it, and I was like, "This game fucking sucks." Never played it ever again.
I would like to try the new ones, but there's just too many other better games out that I'd rather play.
I heard we're getting another Tomb Raider game.
Another?
Another reboot. It's like, quit trying to jam something no one wants down our throats.
Yeah.
Ooh, how about this? Fun game that neither of you have heard of, I know, because I had to play it while I was at Faith because we weren't allowed to connect to stuff outside.
Native speak and
there was-
typing.
No, it was basically almost like that. So Kings of Chaos, was a game that we played.
That is not a fucking...
No. I'm just saying it's in that same vein, where it was Omerta was the name of the game. It actually just died not too long ago because I've tried to jump on the website just to see because I would play it. And you would be able to go through different levels. You'd be like a stoolie or whatever for level 1 and on up, and you could get to be a crime boss. But your character could be, you could travel to different cities, quote unquote travel. You could go into different crime organizations, like you could sell drugs or guns or booze, and you could buy cars, and you would get cars, and you would do this stuff, and then sometimes you get caught and have to go to jail for like 2 minutes. Like it would literally count down from 2 minutes or 5 minutes or however long based on the crime.
In jail.
And people could put hits out on you, and people could try and shoot you, and you could buy guns and bullets. And I never made it past like level 3 because I'd always do something like, "Let's go racing." All right, race a car. Your car died or exploded. You're dead. All right, start again.
So, this is really reaching outside the bounds of what gaming is.
Let's do it.
That is
I could do that
too. That is gaming at its most infancy of whatever what was just the text-based games called?
Zork?
Yeah, but I mean, wasn't there like the
what are they actually called?
I can't think of what
text-based adventure games.
Yeah, but I mean, you'd have to type in every single thing, like walk into room.
Yeah.
You'd walk into room, turn on light candle.
Yep.
I just can't think of what they were called.
I can't either. It's okay though, because
so this is like one or two steps above that.
Yeah.
So if we're gonna go ahead and go to that, well, remember when Facebook was in its infancy and you had Mafia Wars?
Is that still around?
Yes.
And I was hot on that game. I had it to the point to where like I had all the money, all the shit, and I never paid a single dime for microtransactions. I actually just waited for shit to get done.
I never did.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was a really big Mafia Wars player for a good, I think,
is that
like
still around?
6-7 months. Check on Facebook. I mean, Farmville. If Farmville is still around, it's probably still around. But it was like it predated like the Flash style Zynga games, and was just like, here's boxes you can click. You can buy these slums, and then you can up the rent and do this, and you can do that, and you do this, and then you can fight this crime boss, and then move up in the ranks of being a crime boss. Mafia Wars. Then people would get at you, and they would fucking get at you. So then you would have to be in these Mafia Wars Facebook groups and be like, "Yo, add me as friend, add me as friend, add me as friend." I never did that shit because that shit was dumb, because I didn't want a bunch of people I didn't know on my fucking Facebook.
Yeah.
Because I talk about personal shit on Facebook. I mean, like, I'll talk about my diarrhea on Facebook. So, I mean, I'm getting real personal. I'm pretty sure that some asshole playing Mafia Wars does not want to see that. But, I mean, like, you'd be like, join my Mafia. Hit me up on Facebook.
Yeah.
Give me that Facebook like. And really, it was just a step up from Kings of Chaos. Click my link. Click my link. Click my link. Back in the fucking day of being on AOL Instant Messenger in a fucking chat room talking about Metallica, blah, blah, blah. Or, look, the name of the room was Metallica, but we were talking about real metal, not Metallica. And then, like, some asshole with Kings of Chaos.
Room. We were talking about metal, but really all we were saying is ASL, boob size.
You never just ask somebody their boob size. You got to talk to them for at least 30 minutes.
That's why you start out with ASL, then you move, you work your way somewhat quickly to boob size.
Yeah, because then, like, after like 30 minutes, you like go horny ? And then they'll be like yes or no, and then you get your cyborgs on. And you don't care if it's with a dude. It doesn't matter. Time to play the dicky game. But no. No. But like,
even at the beginning of the internet, the whole entire thing was all about sex.
Yeah.
Even from the very beginning.
Oh yeah.
Sorry, I derailed that one. Continue. New metal.
No, it's yeah. Not new metal.
Whatever.
It was just a Metallica chat room where we talked about whatever metal we were listening to at the time, or. A lot of musicians would be in there, and then some asshole would jump in there and spam their fucking Kings of Chaos until they got auto booted, and it's just like, Kings of Chaos, when will it die? It still isn't fucking dead.
Nope. Still alive.
It's like the wicked clowns. They will never die. That's an ICP reference for all my juggalos out there.
Whoop, whoop.
Whoop, whoop to you.
All right, so I got another stretch for a mobster game. I'm going to use Die Hard logic on this.
Oh.
So, because Die Hard takes
Technically, Die
place,
Hard is a mobster movie.
Die Hard takes
I didn't know if
place
you know this.
during the Christmas season, so it's therefore, for some reason, a Christmas movie.
It is a. You take that back right now, sir.
Spider-Man.
I'm unplugging your mic right now.
All Spider-Man games take place in New York, where mobs are. So, ergo, Spider-Man games are mob games.
And technically, he fights the mob.
Yeah.
I like it.
Yep.
Yep.
There you go.
But Die Hard is not a Christmas movie.
Die Hard is a Christmas movie.
Is there a Christmas tree in it?
Yes.
Well, it could just be a happy feeling tree. I have one. It makes
There's
me
a
happy.
Christmas party.
I'm thinking about it right now, and I'm.
There's Christmas bullets. There's a present that he gives Hans in the elevator.
Yeah, I could give you guys a present right now. And it's not Christmas.
So they paint their bullets red and green.
No, it's just that they're bullets that are given to you at Christmas.
Forcibly from the end of a gun.
Catch.
I'm sorry that you don't enjoy the way I give you my presents.
Oh, man. Merry Christmas,
Merry
everybody.
Christmas from
One and all.
Nakatomi
Tower.
Tower. It's not a Christmas movie.
It is. Both are.
It's not a tumor.
You guys are whores.
Not a tumor.
They drew first blood.
So,
Rambo's
Rambo-
a Christmas movie.
no, Rambo's a gangster movie because it's a gang of people that took over a town.
No, he
Didn't draw first blood.
They drew first blood.
He was just a vet coming home and that we don't like your kind.
Yeah, but he didn't take over it wasn't the
He's
people
a-
that take over the town. He just.
Is Sylvester Stallone Italian?
Yeah.
Mob.
Rocky.
Mob.
AJ?
Mob. There you go.
I am a mobster movie because I'm Italian. I have Italian in me. I talk about my penis like a thin little pepperoni. Oh, you want to touch my thin little pepperoni? It's like those really many
that technically means that Mario is a mobster games.
Italian plumber.
Yeah.
But you know that he's plumbing hits.
He's plumbing Peach's piss. Yeah.
She's his bippity boppity.
Hey, this guy. Gabagool. Gabaganoosh.
I guess that means also the Office is a mobster movie, or mobster
Why?
because they have that gabagool is
Oh.
like that.
Yeah.
That's where that comes from.
And they have a branch. Their headquarters in New York.
Yep.
Mob. 9/11. The mob did.
If you learn nothing from this whole entire podcast, it's that everything is the mob,
It
Everything is the mob.
and
They're
nothing,
everywhere.
which means that nothing is the mob.
I work for a bank,
Whoa.
therefore I work for the mob.
Yep, you do.
You money launderer, you.
The mob rules. Black Sabbath? The mob rules? The mob. They're the mafia.
Yep.
There you have it. Hot take from 30 and Nerdy.
Hell yeah.
The ending of this podcast is a fucking dumpster fire.
And we're
Aren't
still
they
on
all?
topic. We're talking about mob stuff. Pizza is a mob food.
No, you take that back. Pizza's sacred.
And so is the mob.
Yeah.
Okay, never mind.
What a, I don't know.
Sadly,
Rudy
there's not a-
Giuliani, mob boss. Probably.
So, if they're called Dons and Donald Trump shorted would be Don, Don is the mafia, therefore America is the mafia.
Donald Duck.
He's in the mafia. He's a Don.
He is. Sylvester the cat?
That makes me sad because Don from Night Crew is the Don then.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Oh,
creepy.
that man would be in the fucking mafia. I could see him pulling hits. He ran over my foot because of shit my dad did to him. He punished me for the sins of my father.
You don't
He
do
probably
that.
wasn't. He probably was in the mafia then, carrying out old school.
No,
justice.
this really happened. So there's a guy that we used to work with at Hy-Vee when we were Night Stalkers, and there's this old guy named Don, and finally he figured out that my last name was Phillips, and he's like, "Oh, it's your dad, Andy Phillips?" And I'm like, "Yeah, how do you know my dad?" "Oh, I used to work with them." I was like, "Oh, really? Oh, that's cool." And then come to find out, he hated everybody that he worked with there because he thought they were a bunch of disrespectful young fucks.
Oh, yeah?
So one day in the back room, he runs over my foot and breaks my toe, my big toe, with a fucking
pallet jack.
with a pallet jack.
Oh.
Ripped off the toenail and everything. It was fucking brutal. And he just turned and looked at me and goes, "Well, maybe you should have looked where you were standing, you dumbass."
And he said that he would
With
always
a
say
big
that.
smile.
Yeah, he'd always say it with a really creepy old man.
He
smile
was
on
like
his face.
an evil Mr. Rogers. Like, he said things so kindly, except for they were horrible.
Dumbass.
They were horrible things coming out of his mouth, but he would say it like he was Mr. fucking Rogers.
Sounds like a dick wet bag.
Oh, he definitely is a dickbag,
Well,
and he's
probably-
the mafia.
He probably is now a was.
No, I'm pretty sure he's still alive.
Dude was old as dirt when he was working
He
with
was
us. That was like 10 years ago.
50. He was like in his 50s.
Are you serious? Then he also lived an Undertaker life.
Yep.
He just looks
He looked 70.
tattered and torn. No, he didn't.
He looked 70,
He looked
if
pretty-
not a day.
He looked pretty fucking virile.
He was not.
He was-
He's a doddering old man. Speaking of old people, had those my favorite old couple came in today,
Oh yeah?
and
The rude old one?
yeah,
What
And-
happened?
they decided they wanted to riffle through all the green top radishes and just to find the perfect one, which is fine. You know, whatever. You want your produce to be the one that you pick out. But what they did is they took everything off the shelf that it was on, stuck it on top of something else, and then just walked away. So they didn't take what they took off and put back. They just left this giant pile of green radishes all over everything. And I was like, "Are you?"
You should accidentally hit them with your car.
It was an accident, I swear. You just need to push a cart really hard at her hip so she breaks her hip and can't come in.
Yeah.
And she has that same kind of Don smile where she'll say something that's really passive aggressive, but with a smile on her face.
Yeah, but Don wasn't passive. He was straight aggressive with that smile. You're a fucking idiot.
Oh my god.
So,
Did
well,
you ever tell him off?
You know what's really funny is that
Nope, we just left him in aisle 5 to himself.
Yep, pretty much. After he broke my fucking toe, I didn't want anything to do with him.
Fuck.
I talked to my dad about it, and he goes, "Oh, you work with Donald Duck? Oh yeah, we fucked with that guy so hard. We fucking tore him to pieces." So, I mean, honestly, what happened? My dad had coming, except for it went to me instead.
Yeah.
And I'm still kind of sour about it. And my toe still gets pain in it.
Thanks, Don.
I can tell when it's going to storm out.
No, really, I can't. Thank you, arthritis. I've gotten old.
It's supposed to storm this Friday.
I know. Gotta love Iowa. We're going to get all 4 seasons in about 4 days.
Oh, yeah. So tomorrow,
Spring, a nice summer day.
68. On Friday, 70-something. Saturday, fucking cloudy and kind of chilly. And then Sunday, snow. Welcome to Iowa. This is 30 and Nerdy. And it's been a pleasure.
My name is David.
I'm Brady.
And I'm AJ.
And I'm AJ.
And
I'm AJ.
And I'm AJ.
Good night.
Bye. Deckard wasn't replicant.
Duh.